he might want to hang on in the hope that two things might happen. There might be some complication in appointing that additional justice, but also criminal proceedings against the leader of the opposition, Lee Jae-myung, are rumbling on. And one of the things the Conservatives have been hoping is that that would derail the leader of the opposition, which is the one thing that they are most united about.
Now, South Korean's parliament voted today to impeach President Yoon Suk-yeol. The sound of hundreds of thousands of people celebrating outside Parliament in Seoul earlier today. As the president survived an impeachment vote last Saturday, if you remember, after members of his People Power Party boycotted the motion. But his luck ran out this morning. Well, joining us now is John Lee, editor of Korea Pro, the website focusing on South Korean politics. John, good afternoon.
Hello, thank you for having me.
How come there was another vote today, John?
Well, as you mentioned, last week, the ruling party boycotted the vote, and the opposition party vowed to keep bringing this up week after week after week until they actually have this vote. And it didn't require them to do this repeatedly, just one more time. And just today, they passed the votes, and he was impeached by 204 votes.
And what has happened now? Who's effectively in charge of the country?
Well, after the president was impeached, about 2 hours later, he was formally stripped of his powers, and the prime minister, Han Duck-soo, became the acting president. And he right now has all of the presidential powers.
Now, President Yoon has been saying that I am temporarily stopping my journey. And then he went on to add, but I'm going to be doing my best for the country until the end. He's going to fight this, John, isn't he?
He is going to fight this till the bitter end. Now, the Constitution says that after the president has been impeached, the Constitutional Court will have up to 180 days to deliberate on the impeachment and either agree or disagree with the impeachment. And this is where Yoon is going to try to fight his way out back into office, which is why in his speech he said that he was just temporarily stopping his job.
Does he have the support of the Korean people?
The Korean people, about 78% of the people said that they voted for impeachment. But right now, it's not about what the people want. It's about what the law says. Mm-hmm. And right now, the president is saying that he defended his martial law declaration by saying that the opposition party had, quote unquote, paralyzed governance. Now, was this a sufficient condition for martial law declaration? Well, the obvious surface answer would be to say no, but in his address, he said that this wasn't a real attempt at martial law, but rather a symbolic gesture, that he didn't intend to usurp the constitutional order, but as opposed to just send a strong message. And he said this, and he cited the fact that he only deployed 300 soldiers as opposed to tens of thousands that would have been needed for a real martial law. And so this is the kind of legal justification that the president seems to be going for. Mm-hmm. Whether or not that will work is another matter. And that is going to be quite important because there are going to be vacancies in the constitutional courts that either the acting president might have to fill or actually duke it out with the opposition party to see how the constitutional court might be able to function going forward. Things are going to get very dicey.
Well, John, I'm sure we'll be keeping a close eye on things getting dicey in the weeks and months to come. John Lee, thank you for giving us your time. Editor of Korea Pro, their website focusing on South Korean politics.
Now, let's speak now to Dr. John Nilsson Wright. He is from the Centre for Geopolitics at the University of Cambridge. John, welcome. Good to speak to you.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. What changed then between last week and this week's vote?
Two things. The president came out and on Thursday morning tried to defend the indefensible, claiming that he was acting in the interests of the nation, criticizing the opposition party as, if you like, almost an elected dictatorship, suggesting that they were in cahoots with North Korea, showing no contrition And I think that galvanized public opinion, and that's been the decisive factor. More than 80% of the South Korean public support impeachment, and that includes both Conservative Party supporters and opposition Democratic Party supporters. So it's been a huge outpouring, more than 100,000 people standing outside the National Assembly to urge parliamentarians to vote in favor of impeachment, which is what they've done. 204 in favor of impeachment, 85 against.
It's worth noting, by the way, I think it's just as an aside, that these tens of thousands of people have been out in the absolute bitter cold every night for the past 2 weeks, calling for Yoon to be ousted and to be arrested, shouting slogans, etc. So that, I think what you're saying there, that feeling of the public mood towards this is really fascinating. What then happens now? What is the impeachment process?
So it's pretty straightforward. The vote goes to the Constitutional Court, which has responsibility for deciding on whether to uphold the impeachment vote. In order for that to happen, there has to be at least 7 justices sitting on the court. It's a 9-member court. There are currently only 6.
Oh.
So we have a little bit of a question mark. And it's the responsibility of the National Assembly, where, of course, the Democrats have the majority of the vote, to appoint another justice. The court has 180 days, so we're talking about 6 months, if it took the full amount of time, to make a decision on whether to uphold the impeachment vote. So it could be quite a drawn-out process. Once they make a decision, and I think the odds are pretty good in favor of them supporting impeachment, then the country has to hold a presidential election within 60 days. So we're looking at 6 to 8 months maximum between now and President Yoon being replaced, and then a new national election for the president to be held. It could be a lot shorter, depending on how quickly that additional justice is appointed, and then the process of deliberation goes forward.
Could Yoon himself decide to go and sort of swerve this process altogether?
That's a really interesting question. Could he step down? Well, first of all, I think it's unlikely, even if he were minded to, given the current standoff, his defiance suggests that stepping down from office is not something on his playlist, if you like. And I think he might want to hang on in the hope that 2 things might happen. There might be some complication in appointing that additional justice, but also criminal proceedings against the leader of the opposition, Lee Jae-myung, are rumbling on. And one of the things the Conservatives have been hoping is that that would derail the leader of the opposition, which is the one thing that they are most united about. Less about their support for Yoon, as we've seen in this vote, and more about their determined opposition to prevent Lee Jae-myung becoming the next president.
Yeah. And what do we know about the Prime Minister who now steps up to be the acting president for this period of process and uncertainty?
Prime Minister Han is an experienced politician. He served in this role before. However, there is one important question mark, that the prosecutor's office is now investigating all of the people in the president's party who were in any way, however tangentially, connected to the impeachment, to the martial law decision. The cabinet was reportedly consulted by the president, or rather informed, because they don't have a veto, as it were, over whether or not to proceed with martial law. And according to the reports we've seen, many members of the cabinet objected to the idea of martial law. But Prime Minister Han is himself under potential investigation. So there's an additional layer of uncertainty about how this caretaker government, led by the Prime Minister, will in fact manage political affairs over the next few weeks.
Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you joining us and offering your expertise on a quickly changing situation, although perhaps it holds off now for a few months. Dr. John Nielsen-Wright, thank you. Dr. Nielsen-Wright is head of the Japan and Careers Programme at the Centre for Geopolitics at the University of Cambridge.